No, this is not a filter. I repeat, this is not a filter. This is not a test. This is not a drill. You're probably wondering, am I joking right now? The answer is no, I'm not joking right now. So, we were going to an AA meeting yesterday and we were a little bit early, and so I was like, oh, have you guys ever been to this consignment shop right over here? And they're like, no, let's go. That's pretty much the end of the story. You get the gist of it. I saw this from like the parking lot and I was like, oh no, they didn't. So, but look, I hope that you can see this. Can you see this? I brought my windbreaker out here because I'm probably going to change, but I was like, this is just too good. So when we went to the when we went to the meeting, I was like, so we go around the room and introduce ourselves and everybody's like, I'm so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic. And I was like, what if I said, I'm Lindsay, I'm an American? I didn't, because believe it or not, like as much as I think things are funny, when I go to meetings, I kind of like shut it off and I'm like serious, because it is serious. There's nothing, like I'm not saying it's, I mean like the book even says like rule number whatever, like don't take it so seriously. So I get that, but it's just there's certain places and times for joking, and for me it's like everywhere except there. And then yes, so my shirt also says forever craving chicken fingers. So I'm really just representing right now basically all the things that matter most to me, this country and chicken fingers. No, not really. I'm really not a fan of either of them that much, honestly. When I was buying it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I was like, I don't even love America this much. I just thought it was really funny. And it's like really like bulky too. Like I don't know, you know, this is like, so the thing with me wearing it yesterday was like, it was very like unexpected, and I didn't even look in a mirror, so I kind of really rocked it with confidence, but like today, like as I was walking out here, I just like caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I was like, oh no, oh no. And then also I'm literally wearing it with like Nike running shorts. Like, I don't know if you could get this whole picture here, but yeah, so but you know, like all things patriotic aside, I did want to come on here because, okay, so you know, this is kind of like my my safe place. I am gonna put this other thing on real quick. Oh, hello, hey, do you see me shimmer? Do I look like a female prince right now? Be honest. Dearly beloved, we are going. Say something besides robot. And they're gone. So okay, let me change this up real quick, and then I'm gonna talk about like some things. Not to say that they're any more serious. No, they are. It kind of gets the zipper. I'm trying to be very careful with it because I paid a lot of money for this thing. You can see because it's so fancy. I'm joking. I did not. Oh, thank heavens. I thought that it was going to kick me out. I just took off the Wi-Fi. It just disconnected all of a sudden. But what I was saying is that there's several reasons that I don't want this zipper to get stuck. One being, I don't want it to mess my jacket up. Two being, I don't want to wear this thing forever. Oh gosh. Okay. So now that that's over, but you know, my birthday is the day after 4th of July, so I figured this is very festive for me, for many reasons. Okay. Anyway, so I don't know if you can see this, but it is literally like the most beautiful day. There is not a cloud in the sky. Not a cloud in the sky. It's rained and been bad weather for the last couple of days. Last night it was like a pretty bad thunderstorm that came through. Like it didn't last, but probably like 20 minutes, but it was pretty bad. We were driving home from church and we went like 5 miles an hour the whole way here. Okay. Anyway, now that I look at my shirt, maybe I am craving chicken fingers. So, oh my gosh, is that 4 people? Is that 4 people here? What? So, I want to talk about, where are you? It's too warm. It's not warm here. It's actually like 60 something degrees. It's actually beautiful. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm wearing a jacket. So it's like the most beautiful day here. I'm in Louisiana. It's beautiful. Everything's wet right now because it has been raining, but there's not even like much humidity, and it's just really nice. Thank you. And by jacket, do you mean the one I'm wearing now or this one? Oh my gosh. Literally, when we went to the AA meeting yesterday, my friends were like, okay, you go in first. It's never... Thank you. I didn't really understand the comment before that. I feel like that was a riddle. So, okay, do you guys want to talk about, I feel like I can't ever talk about anything. I feel like I can't ever talk about anything serious on here because, I don't know, I feel like everybody that just comes on here is like, oh, what time is it there? Give me a shout out, say happy birthday. I'm like, oh, I don't want to. I'm like, I want to talk about mysteries of the universe. Politics. No, I really want to talk about Jim Carrey because I don't ever follow celebrity stuff. And I really don't ever watch YouTube or anything, but I was watching Minions earlier. Like I was bored. Like I've been so bored. I've been off work for this is like my 4th day off work, but really I go to work tonight. So but I've been off for this is my 4th day in a row off, and I'm like going crazy. I'm so glad. Okay. So I'm just gonna go into so I've been bored. So anyway, I saw that video and I was like, everybody was like, it's the Illuminati. They killed him. It's a clone. He's been mind control. They Kanye Wested him. And I'll tell you what I think about it, okay? And this is why I'm bringing it up, because like I said, I'm not really one to dabble in like celebrity gossip on things like that, but I feel like because my opinion really goes against the grain most of the time, like I just don't really see things the way most people see things. But I think he was just on drugs before, and I feel like I could say that because literally you spot it, you got it, you know what I mean? Like I see this person that was like, everybody knows Jim Carrey is about peace and love and harmony. I'm like, but he really wasn't. He went from like being anti-establishment to literally yes, okay, but look, and this is, okay, so I'm really gonna be very transparent here. My eyes changed colors when I got sober. They really actually did. And you could even go back and look at some of my videos. One of my last YouTube videos before I went to treatment, I had green eyes, like green. I've had blue eyes my whole life. Like, it was bizarre. I don't even know what color they are now. I'm not gonna take my glasses off because really I'm under my control and I'm a clone of me. No, I'm just kidding. I wish that the Illuminati cared about me enough to mind trick me. Oh, but no, my eyes literally changed colors. I think that there's a scientific explanation behind it, but I would almost bet my life this dude has been on drugs for all these years. And because they said this was and this is so crazy. Like I feel crazy even saying this out loud, because I'm like, I really, I don't know. I was just like, I hate to, like, it makes sense. Yeah, but so, they were like, allegedly after, no, this is what they said, like, this was the theory that I heard. After his girlfriend drug overdosed and died, they were going to hold him responsible for her death. So the Illuminati, like, snatched him up and was like, you're going to go to jail forever for, like, the death of your girlfriend that overdosed, or you have to, like, sell your soul to the devil. Like, we're going to mind trick you or kill you or clone you or whatever. Like, you have to, like, be in the Illuminati. And I'm like, that makes no sense. What makes sense to me is he was on drugs with his girlfriend. She overdosed and died. It scared the crap out of him. And he got his life together. He quit doing drugs. Or maybe it sounds very much to me like the words of a prosecutor that was trying to make a deal with somebody like, hey, you could go to jail for negligent homicide. Or you could take this off, this plea deal, you know, whatever it's called, like, go get yourself some help and quit doing drugs. You know what I mean? That makes more sense to me. I don't know. Maybe my mind is, like, so far out in left field, and I should just, like, jump on the bandwagon with everybody else. It's like, it's the Illuminati. But doesn't that seem like a more rational explanation? Yes, my eyes changed from blue, like hazel blue, like they were like yellow in the middle and blue on the outside, to like green. I will go back and like find some pictures and show it, because I was shocked. Like I was literally in disbelief. I had a guy that I was dating. I watched his eyes change, like in front of me, like I saw it with my own eyes. Freaked me out. And I think that he, you know, well, there was drugs involved there too, but he was also kind of under like I think he had some darker stuff going on with him. But but this is what I think. You know, when people, like, first of all, if they were going to have a clone of him, why would it not look like him? Like, to me, that's like the number one, like, that's like the first and foremost. Like, why would so many people, like, if I were to kidnap Jim Carrey, hide him in a dungeon cell somewhere, make a clone of him, first of all, okay, let's send him to an award show, which is totally out of character for him, because he was like, I'm not ever going to these things again. These things are stupid. I would send him to do something crazy like what he had done before, like go on these late night shows and like hate on everybody, you know? I guess, okay, no, I take that back, because that was probably, like, they're saying like that's what got him the attention, you know, was like him being like throwing up the gang signs. I know that's not what he was doing. I know what he was doing, but that's not peace and harmony. Like going on a late night show, doing this and saying, oh, Jimmy Kimmel, you know Jimmy Kimmel. Don't act like you don't know. You and Jimmy Fallon and Dave Letterman, y'all all go out in the woods naked and have these seance rituals, like these Satan worshiping rituals, like naked in the woods. Like, that's some pretty bold accusations, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So to be saying all that stuff, and then people be like, well, no, it's because he was calling the Illuminati out. He was exposing them. No, he was acting like someone on drugs, is exactly what I think it was. Hey, they all clone, they are possessed. No. I think it's, okay, so let me keep on going. So like, let my theory further unfold. So why would someone that has like a drawn in face, like a very skeletal looking face, you know, why would the clone of him have healthy, they were like, oh, he had jaw surgery. I'm like, no, he has cheeks now because he has meat on his bones because he's not on drugs anymore. Like, it just seems so obvious to me. I think that they were possessed. I think Jim Carrey was possessed by the demon of drugs, because it is a demon. I really believe that. I think that I am a child of God, and so I don't think that the Holy Spirit ever stopped dwelling in me, but I absolutely 100% think that when I had drugs in my body, which I did for years, I believe that I was absolutely under demonic influence, if not possession. 100% believe that. Yeah, see, I've heard about all that. I've seen all that stuff. But let me tell you something, guys. This is what I think, and I'm just gonna hear me out, okay? None of these people are Christians. Jim Carrey, Kanye, well, maybe Kanye West. But these people, they are not true Christians. They're not true followers of Jesus Christ. So when someone is trying to, you know, all these things that they're trying to expose, these reptilians, all these things, first of all, we should know that these things, like, if you read the Bible, you know that these things are going to happen anyway. If I was, you know, Satan, if I was the Illuminati, first of all, that is their enemy. It's not these whistleblowers. You know what I mean? If they've been keeping their organization a secret this long, I promise you, information is not just now starting to leak out. I promise you, Jim Carrey did not just decide to blow the whistle, you know, and then they're like, well, off with his head, you know. No. This is all a distraction. Everything is a distraction, because really what it is there's a battle against good and evil, and it's not just good and evil. It's the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven, the people that are Christians and the people that are not. So I really believe that Jim Carrey just got sober, quit doing drugs, because they were like, oh, he used to, you know, he would go on he would go on the red carpet and be like, this is all, you know, like, none of this is real. None of this is real. But like, and now he's on there being like excited about his award and stuff. No, that's because you care about life again. You know what I mean? Like, I went to the same rehab that I had a whole live stream that I was just like, these people, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm gonna expose it. Like, no one should be that passionate and angry about something unless they've got something going on. Like, people that have a peace within them, they don't get fired up like that. Like, they don't feel the need to expose everything in that way. You know what I mean? Like, me going over there to that treatment center and being like, oh, hell no, like, da-da-da-da-da. And like coming on here and doing like a 3-hour live stream about just I'm gonna blow the lid off this thing. Like, oh, la, 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 la. I went to that same place the other day to get a job. You know what I mean? Like, that's not me being that's like how much drugs like alter your sense of reality. Like, I literally hated the entity, the organization, the business, the place that was helping people get sober and change their lives for the better. And I hated them. I did. I hated them. That's not, you know, that's like saying right now, like, oh, well, maybe she's demonically possessed. Like, no, I'm living in the reality again. Like, you know what I mean? Why I cut my hair is it's a really like a tenfold explanation. I would love to explain why I because I didn't just cut my hair. I shaved my head, like shaved it. And I know that a lot of women that were on drugs, like, that's part of their story, is that they shave their head, and they have a lot of different reasons. They're like, I thought there were bugs in there, blah, 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 blah. Like, I shaved my head because it hurt so bad. Like, I would stay up at night just crying for hours and hours because I felt like my hair was like pulling, like strangling my scalp. And every time I would cut it a little bit, it would like give me a little relief. And then when I finally couldn't cut it anymore, I just shaved it. And it was like my skull like cracked open and like my brain could breathe again. It was the craziest thing. And it's taken me over a year now to just now start to get to like the bottom of like it's crazy. It's so crazy. And I will tell you this, as far as like people's facial features and stuff changing, my hair being the way it was not directly a result of being on drugs, because I know that it's been this way since I was a child. I know it has, because I've had the same ripples behind my ears and my earlobes and my nose and everything, like it, but it got so much worse when I was on drugs. The drugs just, you know, intensified it like a billion times. But I'm so glad that it did, not to say do drugs, but like I'm so glad that it did, because it got me to the point that I could not stand it anymore. But when my hair started growing out and I started finally like getting relief, like in my, like in like, you know, the back of like the bottom, like the back of my neck and like my temples and stuff, when I started getting relief from it, like literally like my freckles on my face were moved, like they moved. Like I had a scar on my forehead that like had been up here and it like moved back down here. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I'm not a clone, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not. Call my what? My hair looked damaged? When I was on drugs? I can't see what that word says. I feel my hair looked damaged. I mean, it probably was. I dyed it a lot. But I mean, it looked damaged because I was damaged. Everything was damaged. My brain was damaged, you know. I was dehydrated. I was, you know, I mean, I never like gave up on my hygiene when I was on drugs, but the back of your neck is called the, oh, okay. Well, anyway, it all hurt so bad. But I think that, you know, these things happening like on that's, you know, like on a scale like of that magnitude, like celebrities going through these changes, you know, we pay attention to it more. But these are things that are probably going to start happening, you know, like it's, I just think that people are looking at it backwards, and I could be wrong. I mean, maybe the Illuminati did kill him and maybe it's a clone, but I just wonder if anybody's like taken a moment to like just consider other possibilities, and like what other possibilities could you come up with? What would be someone's motive? Now, I will tell you this. I have a 3-part video series on here that I have titled Illuminati interview, I think it's called. It was like basically I was like gonna video like my like audition, that's what it was, audition, Illuminati audition, and I was on there saying how perfect I would be for the Illuminati or the Mexican drug cartel. And it was a joke. It was all a joke, but it was funny, but also not funny, because the fact is, like, I am not being arrogant when I say this. I'm really not. But I've spent a lot of time in solitude, like a lot. Like, I lived on a farm in the middle of the country with no cell phone and no person, nothing but a big tree that I would climb in, donkeys that I would ride on, dogs that I would sit with, and books that I would read, and just praying and writing and painting. And that's what I did for 3 years. And then even after that, you know, like I've spent many years in isolation, and it wasn't all like I feel like I really tapped into some stuff like on a spiritual level, but also like, you know, doing a lot of research, learning a lot of stuff, reading a lot of stuff. I'm not bragging, because a lot of that information has gotten jumbled up in my head, and it's caused as much problems as it has. You know, I don't really know that it's benefited me in much way at all. Besides, when I'm feeling insecure, I resort to acting like I'm a know-it-all, and that's actually very unbecoming of a person, I realize. But all that to say, if they had, I guarantee you that if the Illuminati had information that was, you know, confident, like the things that they didn't want people to know. First of all, I think they would have a way of knowing who had access to that information. I think that I would possibly be a blimp on their radar, and I don't think the Illuminati could give a rat's ass less, like, excuse my language, I need to stop. I'm getting so worked up. I'm going back to my old ways, y'all. Not like using drugs, but like I've been like, excuse me, let's just pretend like that just didn't just happen. They don't care about me at all. I don't think. Now, Satan's army, I guarantee you I pose more of a threat to them, I would think. I still don't think that I'm anything, of any, like, I really don't think I'm that relevant really at all. But I just think that, there's people out there, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just babbling now. I just think the whole thing is crazy because I think that it really is like, because what's going to happen, I want to tell you what's going to happen. Let me rein it back in. So there's this thing that there's this tactic that, like, narcissists, I've been seeing this as long as I can remember. I've been watching people do this, to me, it's one of the oldest plays in the playbook, starting a fire and then putting it out. That is one of the biggest, like, that's a move that a lot of people, they do that, they cause problems and then they solve the problems. Well, let me tell you, first of all, it's very easy to solve a problem that you caused, it's very easy to be prepared to extinguish a fire that you started. It's very easy to, it's like, oh, like they responded so fast. Well, I bet they did, but, so what I think would be, really, it would be a shame if all this, investment, like, and attention that we're giving to this, these reptilians and these aliens and like all these things, if one day, if it gets so out of control and everybody's just, in an upheaval, we're going to look to someone to save us all. We are going to be in desperate need of a savior to swoop in and fix all these issues, save us from these reptilians or these aliens or these Illuminati, whoever they are. And that person's going to, he's going to appear. And it's not going to be Jesus, it's going to be the Antichrist, I believe. That's what I think. I mean, I know I'm not saying I believe, like, I do believe that the Bible does clearly say that, but that's what I could imagine, how I can imagine it going down. You know what I mean? I loved my hair blue. I know, I loved my hair green more than anything. I saw a picture of it yesterday and it was like that emerald green color and I was like, oh, I can't wait till I have long hair. My hair is so thick and full and healthy now, it's crazy. Side note, speaking of my hair, I also, just like I never knew that I had green eyes, I never knew that I had brown hair either. My whole life, I thought I had blonde hair, just like all the other women in my family who I'm pretty sure don't have blonde hair either. I just assumed that because they all did, that I did too, and I always dyed my hair so much, I never really knew what my natural color was. But like, I remember being a kid and asking, when my mom would like go get her roots dyed or like highlighted, and her roots would look so black. They would look like black. And I asked why do her roots look black if her hair is like blonde? I just thought, I thought her hair was blonde, but she just got it dyed like real blonde, and they were like, well, no, that's because up against the blonde, that's what makes it look so black. That's just not true. I cannot believe all the things that we're told, really as children, but really just forever, all the things that we're told that are just not true. And I'm like, no, her hair looked black because it was black, And I'm like, I don't know why that would need to be hidden from, I don't know why somebody would not want to know, like, or be ashamed. I don't know. It's just weird to me. But yeah, my hair is definitely like dark brown, you know, for sure. And I just think that's weird because I just knew as soon as my hair started growing out, I mean, I just knew it was going to be, you know, light brown, dark blonde for sure. And that's another thing too, is like I always thought it was weird that my eyebrows were so dark. Like my eyebrows are almost black. And so are my mom's. And I was like, it's just weird. I don't think that that's, I think that is weird because it's not true. You know, your eyebrows are the same color as your hair. If anything, they might be a little lighter. They're not, they're never dark. Like your hair, it's just crazy to me. Your eyelashes, baby. So anyway, so, you know, these things, it would not be far-fetched to believe that humans could create a slew of problems, whether real or imagined, and then, you know, a government agency or a, you know, a political figure or someone, you know, with the power and, you know, the ability to swoop in and, you know, face those issues head on, whether they be real or not. You know what I mean? Like, but it all goes back to like, why do we care? Like, I used to be so fascinated / obsessed with all that stuff. And I'm telling you, like, it just does not matter. Like, first of all, if we were to see like even a glimpse into like the spiritual realm, or to see like even a glimpse of like an angel or a demon, like, I promise you a lot of people would stop caring so much about aliens and UFOs and Illuminati. Like, those things are fictional, or at the very least, like they're like, we don't know for sure, but like, I know one thing for sure is that there are fallen angels, like the spirits of, you know, the fallen angels and the Nephilim and stuff that we also can't see, but, you know, in other realms, these things actually exist. And I'm pretty sure they're scary looking, you know? And I don't think that we should be scared of those things, but I think if we were going to focus our attention, if we just really get our rocks off on learning about these, you know, weird, extra, supernatural, like extraterrestrial, like whatever, like if it's just something in humans that are just by nature like fascinated by those things, like be fascinated in those things, because it's interesting too. I'm telling you, the Bible is more interesting than any sci-fi book or comic book or movie, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of good entertainment in there, you know, but it's not just entertainment, like it, you know, like it words to live by, like literally. It's like it's the living word of God. And I wish that, okay, so part of me is like, I wish that people knew that like they were being distracted, but at the same time I'm like, well, I really just don't want to, I don't want to get distracted. Like I think that people make their choices, and if somebody really cared enough, you know, people should really censor the things that they consume, you know, like with their, like the things that we allow into our minds, you know, whether through our eyes or our ears or like, you know, whatever it is. Like, I wish that people would be a little more aware and cautious about the things that they consume, but people are going to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think. I think people are going to do what they want to do. I would just, if anything, I would like to just offer an alternative, you know, like way to look at things, like just for what it's worth, and just like plant that seed that if anybody really got tired of like going with the grain and like just believing what's being shoved down your throat, that they could be like, maybe that does make sense, you know? Yeah, thank you. Italian, oh my gosh. Thank you for joining us, me. So anyway, I just think that, don't know. I go back and forth between like, I don't know. And I'm also like, even though another thing too, even though I'm getting like worked up about people getting worked up about stuff, like it's also a distraction for me. Sitting here talking about people getting distracted by stuff is actually me distracting myself from the fact that like I have felt so blah the last few days. It really sucks. Like I have been just like, I've been reading my Bible so much, and I've actually been like praying even to God, like, God, please, even if I'm just reading my Bible, like, you know, in vain, like, even if I'm just doing it like, I don't know, because I'm so unsure about everything that I'm doing right now. I am so lost right now. I really, really am. And that sucks because I have dedicated my life, surrendered my will, and turn my focus and my attention and my priority to God really a long time ago, but like really, really, really like a year ago. And I'm being so patient, but it's getting hard. It's getting hard to be patient. And that's why I'm talking about this, because I don't think that God minds me airing out these, you know, concerns. Like I'm just getting it out. Like this is how I feel on the inside. So like not addressing it is not really going to help anything. I'm hoping that speaking on it will actually help me to gain some clarity and really just like, you know, like renew my patience, or like help me to get a better perspective. Because right now I'm just like, I feel so void of like any real purpose in life. I don't have any motivation for anything. But partly because of that, you know what I mean? And it just really sucks because I guess I know I'm being impatient. I'm about to put my shiny thing back on. No, I'm not. It's just so cool. I want to believe that something good is right around the corner. I really do. But it's like there's just part of me that's just like so confused, I guess. And it's like, I guess I'm not trusting God that much right now. I guess is what it comes down to, is maybe I'm not being as trusting and patient with him as I should be, or as I could be. And so, you know, saying that out loud makes me realize that I really need to focus on that. I really need to just go to him and be like, hey, like, I trust you, but like, help me trust you, you know? Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because, when I was reading, okay, so this is another thing, like, I will admit this, I jumped ahead, like, I'm doing my Bible in a year, devotional, and so, like, it does a reading from the New Testament, a reading from the Old Testament, a reading from the New Testament, and a reading from either Psalms or Proverbs. And I just like got bored. It's like, it's so weird. It's like I don't know why. I'm just like, I need to just stop. Like I need to literally, like, be still and know that I am God. But I was like, I think I'm just gonna skip ahead. Like I'm still doing it a day. I'm like 35 days ahead because I've done like several in a day. So I was like, I'm just gonna jump to like day 320, you know, and like see what Malachi and Daniel and like Revelation and, you know, like Habakkuk have going on, you know. So I'll like skip all the way to the end, or close to the end. And I was reading today, but I'm actually glad that I did it because, like I said, either way, like I'm going to do it all in a year, and I'm going to get back onto like following the plan, like as I should. But the reading today, what I read today was in Daniel, and it was about the like King Nebuchadnezzar, and then what's his name? Meshach, Abednego, and Shadrach. That's their names. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were friends of Daniel, and they were under the rule of King Nebuchadnezzar. And King Nebuchadnezzar, can't say it, King Nebuchadnezzar made this gold statue type thing for all of the people to worship. And so every time music would play, like harps and lyres and flutes, everybody would bow to their, drop to their knees and bow down to this gold statue that he had made. And, word got back to him that these three men, they were young. I mean, I think they were like young men, but they had refused to bow down and worship this basically false idol, I'm guessing is what you would refer to it as. And, so, Nebuchadnezzar was like, if you don't do this, like, I'm going to throw you in the fiery furnace. Like, you're going to burn to death. Like, I'm going to throw you into this really, really hot, fiery pit. And they were like, in a very polite way, like, with all due respect, we ain't going to do it. And so I want to say this, number one, I think that's very relevant for, like, this day and age. Like, I do think that even though it seems very far-fetched, like, it really seems like, I highly doubt that in our lifetime we would have a president that would build a shrine, either like a replica of him or like of like our founding fathers or like the American flag or something, and require us to like kneel down and bow down and like worship it. Like, it seems far-fetched, but like I said, like, the book of Revelation definitely says that this person will create something in his image and like require everyone, like every person on the earth, to worship it, and so, like, let's just say hypothetically, like, that were to happen, like, what would you do? Like, what would your response be? And not just like, if you were to say, like, we're gonna cut you off from like all what's it called, like commerce, like, you can't buy, or you can't buy anything, like, you won't be able to spend any money, like, you won't be able to buy or sell, eat or anything, unless you like bow down to this statue or whatever. This was even worse though, because it was like, you're gonna die, it was like, if you don't bow down and worship this thing, like, we're gonna throw you into this fiery furnace, And so they were like, this is okay. So would that be like, so there's that, like, read it in the context that, like, it's actually could happen today, but then also, this is another thing that I really loved about it. They said, first and foremost, we're not going to worship your statue. If you throw us in the fiery pit, our God will save us, period. Because that's what kind of God he is. And he's the only God that we serve. But here's the thing. Even if he doesn't, we'll never bow down and worship your God. We'll never bow down and worship your statue. We will never bow down and worship anything besides our God, even if he doesn't save us. And I just love that, because do you know how brave a person would have to be? Like, number one, do you understand like how brave a person would have to be? But number two, do you understand how big of a God we would serve? We serve, like, they serve, if they knew that, like, being thrown into a fiery pit is nothing compared to the wrath of the one and only true living God. You know what I mean? And they knew that. And even though they had full confidence that God would be with them and protect them, but even if they didn't, even if they that's just the loyalty that they had to him. And that is so admirable to me. Admirable. That is so admirable to me. To think that, because I just wonder how many people would just do it just for the sake of like I don't want to die, and I bet you could come up with a whole list of reasons to justify why just doing it would be okay. I really do. And I think it would be just that way if you were to take the mark of the beast on your hand or your forehead. If you have children, that in itself, boom, like you're done. Like that's a no-brainer, you know? Well, I can't not take it because if I can't provide for my kids, they're going to starve and die. I understand that. I really hope it never comes to that, you know what I mean? But like, I'm not saying that it's not. So that would be a very good, it wouldn't be a good, it's not, there is no reason, but like I could see someone justifying that. I could see someone saying in that situation, which they were eunuchs, I think, and I'm pretty sure a eunuch like can't have kids, or I don't know exactly how that works, but regardless, like even if they weren't, like even if they were men that were married and had children, or even just had, you know, like whatever, like it would have been it would have been understandable to some people for them to be like, well, I'm gonna bow down and worship this thing because like I have a family to look after, you know, like if they kill me, who's gonna provide for my family? Like who's gonna take care of my family, you know? Or what if they do it to them too? You know, like I understand that, but like but that wasn't the case with them anyway, but like they didn't care. Like, it's just so, like, this story in the Bible is one of my new favorites, like, of all. Because I can relate to it so much, and I'll tell you why. So, they refused, and not only did they say, throw them in there, but they, like, ramped up, like, they kicked up the heat, like, to, like, as high as it would go. You know what I mean? They were like, light this thing up, you know, and they put them all three in there. You know, they went into the fiery furnace, and lo and behold, the king looks down in there and he's like, hey, like, my people, like, when you put them in there, like, there was 3 of them, right? Like, you put 3 of them in there, and they were like, oh yeah, like, and these are, you know, we put 3 in there. And he's like, then why do I see 4 men in the fire? One of them looking like the Son of God, is what he said. What? That's crazy to me. Number one, Nebuchadnezzar, how did you know what the Son of God looks like? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like, But I think he had been having some dreams and visions and stuff. But like, that's crazy to me. Like, I love that story so much. So they, you know, were brought out, and they had like no evidence on their body whatsoever that they had been in the fire. They weren't burned. They didn't have just nothing. They were completely 100% untouched. And there's so many reasons that's one of my favorite stories, but I'm going to tell you why it hits home to me so much. I may have even said this on one of my channels before. I mean, on one of my live streams before. I think I may have talked, I don't really talk about abuse a lot, but I think there was one video where I was talking about, you know, just basically like, hey, this is not okay. Like, abuse is never okay. You know, I kind of went into more in depth in there, but one of the things that I think I said, because I know I've said this before, I know I've said this multiple times, you know, people, I think a lot of people assume that if you're like, if a person is being abused, like, they're not even going to go in public and stuff because like they're going to have like bruises all over them and black eyes and like stuff like that. Not always the case though. So in my experience, there were many times, and you know, I'm not proud to say that for more than one person throughout my life, where, you know, that night during like the abuse, like I remember it being so bad that I remember thinking like, I'm going to be in such bad shape tomorrow. You know, like I remember thinking like, I'm going to look terrible tomorrow. Like I'm going to feel bad. Like this is going to be like, this recovery is going to be like, this is not good. You know what I mean? Like the amount of pain and like just, impact, you know, like on my physical body. Like I was like, you know, and I can't tell you how many times I would wake up the next day and like not have any visible signs of the abuse. And, you know, I think that part of that, I attributed that to a lot of men are good abusers. They were abused, you know, a lot of them were abused, but they, because here's the thing, you know, a lot of people respond like out of emotion. And when we're acting out of emotion, like we typically don't have much control, even over like our motor skills, you know, like we don't have a lot of, like we're not as coordinated, if you will, you know, like when we're in like, when your adrenaline's pumping and stuff, like you're really just like trying to like get out of like you, it's just like, I don't know how to explain it, but like when a person that is like not a psychopath, but like someone that, you know, like these people that just like do well under pressure, like that, you know, and everybody else would be like, I don't know, everything just happens so fast. But like these type people, like they typically thrive in these life or death like situations. You know, they're like, oh well, everything gets slower to me. You know, I'm like you know, John Wick or something. I don't know. But so, you know, my thought was these men, they can control it because they're not doing it just like necessarily out of emotion. You know, it's never okay to abuse a woman. But my point is, I just kind of assume, like I didn't assume, I was very passionate about this. I would say, you know, you don't always have proof of it because a lot of men know how to get away with it, you know, and I'm not saying that that's not true, but I had no idea that me going through those situations was, God was protecting me just like he protected those men in that fire. I understand I put myself in those situations. Again, no one deserves to be abused. So I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that I put myself in those situations because I didn't. I didn't deserve those things. And maybe I wasn't doing this noble thing like these three men were. But I was in situations where I was thrown in the fiery furnace, so to speak. And the fact that I am, like when I tell you I'm the healthiest person that I know, like I don't have scars or bruises or health issues, like internally, externally. I think that my body and the condition that my body is in at my age is a direct reflection of like my emotional body and like how able God is to heal us inside and out, emotionally, spiritually, physically, every way. But you would never know that I've been through any of the things that I've been through. And that's fine. I don't need for you to. But it is part of my testimony to share that, you know, those things happened. And just because there's no visible evidence of it, there's no proof in my body, that's not proof that it didn't happen. That's proof that God is with us, even in the worst times. And he is. He's with us more in the suffering. He's with us more in those moments, you know? So, and another thing, like my reading for the day, my devotional, well, one of the ones that I was reading this morning, it was talking about this guy, this man that survived like a Nazi concentration camp. Like he was a Jew, and he was a child, and he like witnessed all these horrific things. But like one of the things that he said in the book, like one of the things that was the most horrific to him was like watching another child be hung and killed in the concentration camp. And he said, he's describing it in the book, he says that a man behind him said, my God, like as the expression, like, oh my God, where is God? And the man writing the book, like that was a child at the time, he said like something in him just like he heard a voice that said, he's with that child. He's on that rope. Like he's up there. Like God can be found in the suffering more than anything. You know, whereas people want to think I say people want to think, there are people that believe or that think that, you know, where there's suffering, where there's hurting, where there's injustice, where there's abuse, where there's neglect, where there's poverty, where there's, you know, all these things, that God is nowhere to be found. But he's there most of all, because we have a God that has suffered for us and suffers with us, and there's nothing that we could ever suffer that he hasn't already suffered. That's amazing to me, because there are times in my life when I feel like no one understands. There has been so many times, there are so many days that I feel like so alone in this world that like no one could ever understand how I feel, what I've been through, you know, what I'm facing. Like I just feel like I'm all alone. First of all, that's not true in itself, because there are people that I can always go to, and there's always people that I can, you know, that can relate to me, that have been through things similar to what I've been through. But Jesus went through it all, you know, and he did it for us. He did it, number one, like he did it like to save us, like so that we could, like, so to save us from our sins, but also so that even in this life, like we can go to him, and he's a God that understands. I don't know about you, but I hate being under the leadership of a boss or any type of authoritative figure that tells people what to do that has no idea what they're talking about. I can't stand for a person, like even just something like, I've had jobs before where my manager was like telling me how to do something telling me to do something on the computer, and I'm like, I don't know like this software or whatever, and then them come in there and like not know how to do it and have to ask somebody else for help. Like, I understand they're not perfect, they're human and stuff, but like they're, especially when they're like ugly about it, you know. But I'm like, how are you gonna like tell me what to do when you don't even know what you're telling me what to do? Like how are you going to make me, like, you're gonna tell me that like it's okay if I go all day without a lunch break, but like you've never gone all day without a lunch break. You know what I mean? Like, these are hypotheticals, but I'm saying like God's never gonna say go and like go hungry, and he's never went hungry, you know? I can't see that. Hold on. What time is it right now where you live? Are you answering questions today? Hello? Said hi. Okay. It's 3:49 p.m. I have to be at work at 5 p.m. and I have to work all night. Not all night. I work till like 1:30. Oh, I don't want to. Maybe I should go take like a 20-minute nap. That would be the worst idea ever. That's the worst idea. I don't know what I want to do. I just feel like so blah. Anyway, I am answering questions, but I think I'm about to go. I didn't even know. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it to see if anybody, but every time I looked, like the person that had spoke before was like the last person that said something, and then I looked down and there was like more people. Okay, I am gonna go. I'm either gonna go, I don't think I should, y'all tell me, you think I should take a nap before I go to work? I'm not going to, probably. Okay, thanks for tuning in. This was nonsense, whatever. All right, like, share, subscribe. Well,